Slacker podcast is BYOT. Bring your own tacos.
Dick swinging.
You're listening to American Slacker Podcast.
We can say fuck.
With Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
I don't care, I've been smoking, this is cool.
That's a decent amount of sausage.
This man needs a doctor!
Yeah, I just hope they're tasty.
What's up with these clowns, man?
Cut the lights and went through people's pockets.
Don't you point that at each other.
Let them smoke a little. You need to step it up to that point. We're not gonna lead with the.
We're not gonna lead with that.
So Matt, I went camping not too long ago. It was the past weekend. We took time off from the show, and I took a little trip up to the lake.
Oh, yep. Had a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there were plenty of things that happen, just on any adventure. You have things go wrong. I brought home a scorpion. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was a crazy story in itself.
Yeah, but we thought my girlfriend got stung by it. Turned out she didn't, luckily, and it was a tiny one. I just, disposed of it in the way that you do with something like that.
Just pulverized it into a million bits with a rock.
I just let it go. So
Okay.
So along with our little hitchhiker friend, another thing that kind of went wrong is the morning after packing up and leaving the campsite, we were really hungry, and we decided we were gonna stop at the next civilization we saw and just get food.
Just get some food, get on the road, get it done, yeah.
Absolutely. So we decided to stop at Denny's. That's easy enough. It's
Yeah, Denny's, come on.
And it's a Sunday, so you assume it's going to be a little bit busier, and it was. But they sat us pretty quickly, and eventually the lady came over and asked us for our order, and proceeded to say that it was her first day on the job.
Oh man, that's what you never want to hear when it comes to your server.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but everyone has a first day, I guess, right?
Yeah, don't even tell me. Just play it off.
Yeah, right? Play it off. Well, there was no playing it off. I pretty much assumed before she told me, because she was doing the thing where, you say the order and you put the menu down, but then she's like, what was it? Can you point it at? So you have to point to it and, say, and, long story short, she ended up getting, everything wrong. Everything completely wrong. Everything except the coffee.
Order.
The coffee was on point, but besides
you had
that,
a stranger's order in front of you. Okay.
Pretty much. I ordered a breakfast sandwich and I got a burger with an egg on it.
That's far off. That's
very
not
far
I gave you a sausage, egg, and cheese instead of a bacon.
Yeah, so I did something that I don't think I've ever done in my life. I didn't leave a tip.
Alright, okay, so it brought you to the level where you were just there's no going back. This was just that bad that I just cannot justify leaving.
And it wasn't even rudeness, it wasn't anything like that. It was just the fact that, everything was wrong. So on principle, I can't, if this is how our system works, we have to abide by certain rules or else there's anarchy.
Yeah, and alright, so I understand it. A lot of people are you always gotta tip, which I tip a lot because I was a waiter.
Yeah, I've
but
seen
I understand
Reservoir Dogs. I know what it's all about.
Your personal stance in the situation is that you're kind of teaching a lesson. You're saying, hey, if you want to make that fucking tip, you gotta actually give me a service that is worth tipping.
Yeah, man. It's just it wasn't at all correct. It was the most wrong that it could be. My order was incorrect. My girlfriend's order was incorrect. Everything but the coffee, and I'm not exaggerating. So it's just and I even said when I was getting rung up, I said to the person, I know it's her first day, but everything was wrong, and they gave us a severe discount on the meal because we didn't get anything that we wanted, right? So and the thing came up on the credit card, and it was tip amount, and I'm I said out loud, I can't. I just, out of principle, I feel terrible, but I can't. And she goes, no, I totally understand. And I was thank you anyway. It was just, how bad, I have a question for the audience. How bad does service have to be that you don't leave a tip? Or are you one of those people that's I'm always going to leave at least $1?
Yeah, that's what I do generally, man. I've had some horror experiences, and I still like. To me, $1 is an insult, so I was like, dollar, fucker, what up? You know, but like, hey, it's up to the discretion of whoever's paying to tip. I mean, you didn't get a service that was worth tipping, and I completely understand that. Fuck that. Like, I mean, I just haven't had that experience to bring me to that level where it's just like I'm just trying to get some fucking food.
If we operate on the rules that like good service gets you good tips and bad service gets you bad tips, like. I gotta play by the rules, and that was
it's
just
like the trophy system, you know, like giving everybody a trophy, giving everybody a tip.
Just you can't comparable. Just that, and like I mean, you can get into the whole systematic. I'm subsidizing your workforce type of thing, but I don't even go there. I normally am a pretty good tipper, but that was terrible. So how bad does it have to be? Let us know right on the Facebook page or something, or in the American Slackers group on Facebook, or tweet at us. You know.
Yeah, get at us, and maybe we'll talk about it on the intro of the next episode.
Yeah.
Back to this episode. Welcome to American Slacker Podcast. As always, I'm Matt.
Jesse, your not premium tipper.
Not premium. You want those premium tips? Avoid this guy in your section.
Don't serve me. I'll be the guy picking up from now on.
Put him in Jim's section over there.
I
want that guy.
I'm gonna
remember that guy.
Call it in under a fake name from now on.
That guy called me Fonzie. I don't like that guy.
Yeah, bud.
Man.
So, some love that we do like to show is to the people who retweet our latest episode on Twitter. And we like to give a little shout out to one of the people that ended up retweeting us last week. Matt, this time around, we got 41 tweets.
Yeah, 41. All right. Well, summer's coming to an end. It's inevitable. We're at the end of the season. The fun time is over, people. Harsh winters are ahead. Winter is coming. I'm going to choose the last guy, 41, for that.
Oh, all right. All the way at the end. Well, this time around, it is at Hop Nation USA, guys that we know very, very well. Multiple time winners of the pod shout out of the week. And just a couple yinzers, you know, drinking beer and talking breweries, home brewing, and more. Their episodes come out Fridays, and they're at Hop Nation USA on Twitter. You can find them on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher, all that shit.
Yeah.
Everywhere we are.
Oh, yeah. Hop Nation guys are legit. We will vouch for them. So
and a little shout out to them about possibly collaborating. If you want to do some sort of beer trade, maybe hit us up.
That was something we talked about actually the other day. We were saying maybe a podcast beer exchange would be a cool little thing. Any other podcasts listening, you're down. Hit us up in the DM.
Yeah, if you like beer, get at us.
Hell yeah.
Who doesn't, right?
Oh yeah. Sipping on it right now.
So, Matt, what do we got coming up in today's show?
Well, as always, we're going to start out with the bizarre news. And we got a bunch of good shit in that, including a man that decided he was going to taunt a bison. I mean, I don't know how else to deliver that. You'll see where we go with this, but why? Would you ever think of doing that? Bad idea. But we're going from fight to fight because it's time to bring back the green corner. And then after that, we're going to do a fitting this or that. It's changing of the season themed. It's, I'm stuck on it, man. I don't want to say goodbye to summer.
Yeah. The hot season's yet to come for my area. We have one of those late
I'm in
seasons.
I'm in Northeast America. There is a 3-month gap where I get like nice conditions. The rest of the year is just complete shit. It's either raining cold, snowing.
Yeah, you gotta savor it when it comes in your area. With our weird news, we always like to start out with a little bit of weed news. We're talking about Nikki Fried. She's a Democrat who's running for agricultural commissioner of Florida.
Okay.
And she's a big supporter of medical marijuana for that state. And this has kind of run her into some issues with, of all banks, Wells Fargo, who, you know, is constantly in the news for having something going on with them.
Yeah, a bunch of shenanigans, right?
Yep. And it's same thing this time because they've decided to close her campaign account because they asked her if she would be accepting money from lobbyists from the medical marijuana industry in any capacity. After saying she would be, they shut her account down and gave her all of her money.
Didn't want to do any business with her.
No, and you know, it stems back to the whole federal law of marijuana being a Schedule 1 drug, and the fact that You're not allowed to do federal banking, and Wells Fargo is a very big bank. A lot of smaller local banks have been willing to, credit unions have been willing to work with dispensaries and growers and stuff like that. But at the federal level, it's still very, very touchy.
Yeah, and with such a massive business, that's a big risk that they're not willing to take.
Exactly. It's easy to get their license revoked and shit. So, I mean, I could understand why they would have a viewpoint of saying, like, we don't want to be involved with this. But at the same time, this feels very targeted towards Mrs. Fried. Or Miss Fried.
Yeah. Singled out. Yeah, without a doubt. That's just, I feel for her. I mean, she's trying to promote herself.
Yeah, and she's someone running for a political position. I believe it was agricultural commissioner of Florida, and she's saying, where does the line get drawn? Then are you gonna start dropping accounts of people who disagree with you on other political stances?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's weird that it's like the government's taking its own stance, and that's not okay.
Yeah, well, not even
not the government, but like
Wells Fargo.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're using
Wells Fargo's instituting.
They're using the law and like trying to drop her because of she might actually end up getting elected and pushing through something that they don't agree with, possibly.
Yeah, that's craziness, man.
Yeah.
Well, Wells Fargo, I don't know if that was a smart move to make that kind of stance after all the shit you've been doing. But,
yeah, seriously.
We'll see what time tells with that.
Right. And if you want to read a little bit more about this article from the New York Times, we'll be posting it up on our Facebook page on Wednesday, like we do every Wednesday with our cannabis article.
Well, that's not the only smoke story we're talking about this week. We got another smoke story coming out of Canada and Washington.
Okay.
Right on the border we're talking about. Now, BC, British Columbia, has been battling some wildfires for the last few weeks, actually. And it's just smoke everywhere, man. It's a smoke out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But the problem with that...
The fires are bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, as you know, Mr. California, you're fucking always in threat of fire.
Well, yeah, it's like the whole West Coast, like northern Pacific area is on fire right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. And we got Spokane, Washington is having a little issue because the smoke is drifting down and just covering them. It's just blanketing the whole area in the smoke. And they're like, come on, man, we don't want this shit. So now, we've got residents that have organized into a mass, and they've got an idea. And they're pretty sure that all the calculations they've pulled are going to be solid. And what they're going to do is they're going to put 5 fans on each of their roofs in a city of 550,000 people.
Okay.
They're going to pour them north, and they're going to blow this smoke right back to those damn Canadians.
Just pushing it out like not my problem anymore?
Yeah, man, they're just going to fan it away. Just blow that shit right out of here. It's not our problem anymore. We're gone.
Now, if Canadians start blowing fans back the opposite way, do you believe it would just create like a wall of smoke between Canada and the U.S.?
Just the concept, like the real wall is formed. It's just like fucking nobody goes through it because you don't know what's like in there or on the other side. Maybe, man, it could. And actually, that's it's gotten quite funny. There's been Canadians coming to social media posting their own return. And one image I'm looking at from Adam Havens was taking images of the turbines that gather wind energy.
Yep.
And he was like, challenge accepted. We have pointed the fans here south at Alberta. so it's like, in the battle zone. But, it's all tongue-in-cheek. It's not all just, for fun. They're actually pulling some benefit out of this. And they're benefiting animal shelters. They're trying to put in money towards animal shelters in the area because a lot of animals have been just abandoned in the whole issue of the wildfires, people running.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So they're trying to get all these animals homes, get them back to home, and they're trying to use the benefit of the humor for good, which I'm all about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cool way to take something that's kind of shitty and turn it into like helping.
Yeah, and I think that's all you really can do, They're just been promoting the British Columbia SPCA, and it's really interesting. And hey, if you want to help out, check it out. The British Columbia SPCA isn't hard to find. Just search it on Google.
Nice.
Maybe you can help out a little bit too.
Well, that's awesome. That's a great way to help animals and not hurt them. The man in our next story, who's a little bit south of Washington, down in Oregon, he's finally been sentenced for his infamous bison taunting Yellowstone incident. Now, a few months back, you may have seen this video of a man essentially trying to like bullfight a bison on the road with stop traffic, and this took place in Yellowstone Park.
Okay, yeah, Yellowstone seems like the appropriate setting for the bison to be roaming.
Yeah, and not a man. A man should not get out of his car and try and like challenge the bison to some sort of cage match like this man decided to do. This 55-year-old, he jumped out of his car. People were obviously taking video of it because why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you? If you see that happening,
you see this, honey?
Can't drive away.
This dude's gonna get eaten by a bison. I'm filming this. On Facebook.
And he, ended up getting arrested for it, and he's finally been sentenced. He ended up with 130 days in jail total.
Damn.
And 5 years probation, and in those 5 years, he's not allowed to return to Yellowstone, Glacier, or Grand Teton parks.
Wow, man. That's a really, a think about what you did situation where it's like, you're not allowed near any national parks where there might be bison.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really surprised that they didn't also tack on a restraining order from the bison.
Like, you are
not allowed.
Prohibited from being within 50 yards of bison number 54333.
See, and you wouldn't be able to know because you couldn't check his tag.
I don't know his tag, man. Is this the guy?
That's how you keep him away from all the bison. Now, there were a couple funny quotes that came from himself and the judge in court. The man was apologizing to the bison, saying, "I'm sorry to the buffalo. He didn't deserve what I did to him. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to hurt that buffalo."
That's when the judge was like, "Listen, man, hey, don't apologize to me. Go apologize to that buffalo."
Pretty much, because the Judge Carmen said, "You chased and hounded the bison. You're lucky the bison didn't take care of it, and you're standing in front of me." Because bison justice is very harsh justice.
Damn, you laid the truth down on that fool.
And do you think it was a little condescending that he called it a buffalo?
I mean, hey.
It's like, was that a slight? Because it's referred to as a bison throughout the entire article.
And
he's like, that fucking yeah, I'm sorry, buffalo.
Buff. Like, it's a strong word. I mean, maybe.
It's like, I'm a bison. And
he's singling him out. He's singling him out. That's what that is, right?
I don't know. Is a bison a buffalo? Is a buffalo a bison?
Is bison multiple? I thought bison was plural for buffalo.
No, I think they're the different breed of bison. I'm not sure. We'll have to do a little bit of research here and find out if bison is a buffalo. I believe they're different. They have to be. Yeah, you can't call a buffalo.
They are two different types. Jesse is right.
He was being slanderous. That's what he was doing. It was a sarcastic apology, and he tried to slip it through.
Yep, you're right. Okay, so yeah, he was dealing with the American bison.
Yeah.
Which it's not a buffalo, man.
It's
You're
not
not even
buffalo.
apologizing to him.
No.
You're just apologizing to whatever you want, at that point. 'Cause there's only two forms of buffalo, a water buffalo and a Cape buffalo, which are not anywhere near you.
They're in Africa.
Dude, fuck this guy. He is a poser. He needs to do some time.
Well, yeah, he's done a little bit of it. He's gonna finish it up, and then he's not allowed near the bison anymore.
I'll be interested to see if we cover him in the next few years, going back to get revenge on the buffalo.
Oh God, I hope not. Keep this man away from the parks.
Protect that buffalo.
He's a nuisance.
He is a nuisance. That's not the only nuisance we're talking about. We're going to move along to the nuisance on Gull Lake, Minnesota. It is pretty much water world we're talking about right here. We got a report of two men. They're jet skiing. They're having a whole ton of fun. They're being maniacs on the lake. They're apparently wearing nothing. They're wearing nothing but life vests.
Nothing but
they're
fun?
Dick swinging, nuts hanging. That seems like a liability to get something pinched somewhere, but hey, it's not up to me, it's up to them.
Not too many moving parts on a jet ski, I guess, right?
And we're not only dealing with two dicks on jet skis, we also got another culprit in a boat.
Is the boatman clothed?
I don't have any record if the guy in the boat is clothed. I'm assuming he's clothed because they haven't made it mention of that. But what he's doing, instead of just being naked jet skiing like a maniac, he's being a maniac in his own way. He's circling a sailboat, apparently, nearly capsizing it. What a dick!
Oh my god. This is water world.
He's just creating waves to try to make like a whirlwind hole to pull this sailboat down.
What is this Sea of Thieves over here in Minnesota?
I have no clue, man. A bunch of people, a DNR officer received a report of these two assholes naked on jet skis. And he's like, all right, I gotta get out of my boat, see what's going on. And that's when he sees this guy doing donuts around a fucking sailboat. Somehow he gets all of them to stop.
Oh, wow.
And that's when he starts handing out tickets like they're candy.
Nice.
Yeah, man. He gives the guys indecent exposure, basically, on the jet skis. And then the dude on the watercraft that was circling the sailboats gets a reckless driving ticket.
Okay. No alcohol involved, huh?
No mention of alcohol. These guys are just naturally assholes.
They're going jet ski streaking, is what it sounds like. Jet ski streaking.
I like to call it NAA, like in engine form. Instead of like turbo or supercharged, it'd be naturally aspirated. These are naturally aspirated assholes. They just came like that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
All right.
Don't give them motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
But do give them a pair of fucking pants.
Yeah, give them some pants for sure. But apparently Waterworld has been dealt with. It is safe to go out on Gull Lake if you're a Minnesotian. Minnesotans. I was wondering if I stumbled on that. Whatever. Get at us if I fucked that up.
Shout out to all the Minnesotans. Hit us up.
Minnesotans. Yeah, hell yeah. And we're glad you got this mess cleaned up on Gull Lake. Assholes with jet skis and a boat.
Well, the water activities continue. Actually, still in Minnesota.
What? Are you telling me the water isn't safe yet?
No, not at all.
Jaws?
We got patrols on it. There must be a lot of it must be a big boating community out there.
I never would have taken Minnesota for a big boating community.
Yeah, I gotta look into Minnesota. You've been flying under the radar a little bit, but this man definitely wasn't, because he was arrested for being intoxicated while driving his boat, and then got in a fight with police during the arrest, leading to him becoming naked. So he didn't start naked like these other guys. In your story, they started naked, got clothed eventually, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then this guy, he starts clothed, gets naked during the arrest.
It's like, fuck this. They're like, yeah, fuck you guys, you ain't gonna take me naked.
And this is an older man, this 60-year-old gentleman. He had been charged with 3 counts of battery and 3 counts of resisting an officer because they went after him while he was intoxicated driving his boat. He was arrested, managed to slip into the water while being transported, and then fought with the officers. There's a pretty hilarious video where he's struggling with the officers, and eventually they throw him a life vest because they don't want this 60-year-old man drowning. Backup shows up. They got 2 boats now. He's just kind of chilling with a life vest floating in between the 2 of them. And then they get like a fucking Looney Tunes sort of idea. You distract him, I'll get the fishing pole.
Okay, so they're gonna hook this guy while he's being distracted. Like, hey, over here, guy.
Yep.
Dangling their fingers or something.
Try and get it close to him with the boat, and then try and pull him up, but the first time he smacked away the fishing line when it came in. And then eventually they got him. And they pulled him in after 15-minute struggle of him floating around in the lake there. Well, actually the river, the St. Croix River. He was apprehended and got a bunch more counts on him because now he was beating up officers.
I would have never thought that the fishing line would have been a match for his old man wiseness and strength.
Yeah, it seems like a really weird idea. Like, why would you think that you'd be able to just hook him and pull him in that way, and you wouldn't be able to grab him easier? But hey, it works.
Just imagine like an officer being like Scorpion, like, get over here, fucking yoking this old man out of the water.
Good thing that the head officer was the fly fishing champion for the area.
Oh man. Yeah, exactly. Good
skills with the rods. Well, actually, fly fishing you don't use the rods, so never mind. The joke
Lucky
doesn't.
for old man River over here. Well, we're getting out of this country after that ridiculousness, and we're going to Portugal. We're talking about an Italian man who's hanging out at a British man's exhibit. We're all over the place with this. Keep up. Keep
Okay.
up. Take a walk with me. So basically, we got an Italian man. He's hanging out at a Portugal art museum. Portuguese art museum, where he's, observing all the different exhibits, the paintings, loving the art, enjoying it. Where he got to one exhibit where he fucked up. Because somehow he ended up at the bottom of a hole.
Uh-oh.
An 8-foot hole. A pretty good hole.
Now, is this one of those exhibits where you're supposed to interact with the art?
Yeah, it's like a fly catching, but it catches humans.
Catches tourists? The
No,
piece is
but what we
called
do
Tourist
have-
Trap.
It's a real tourist trap. It's a little... This is Anish Kapoor's Bottomless Pit, also known as Descent into Limbo, which is a dark 4-cornered room. It's a square, very, very small. I believe it's like a 10 by 10. And dark colors, dark gray, with just different contrasts going on. But in the middle of the floor is an actual black hole. Mm-hmm. Now, to the eye, it's very hard to see what's going on at this hole. It might look like an actual pad, maybe just a painted black circle.
Okay.
But it's actually an 8-foot hole at the same time that's been painted black. So it's literally a pit that's been just covered in black paint.
So, like, if someone took the stone part away from a well and just painted that shit black on the inside.
Exactly. Yeah. So you really can't tell that there's any definition at all to like, oh, this is a hole. This looks like a natural like black pad. So what I'm imagining is this guy was trying to maybe take a selfie or something.
Okay.
Or maybe have somebody take a photo of him and he went to step on it.
Oh,
And
no.
the security guard perfectly timed. This place is covered with security guards and monitored with like video. Must have had the security guard look away for a split second and this guy stepped in and bah. Because they let you in the room. That's the thing. You can sit around and like analyze it from different corners and stuff.
Okay.
They do let you in the room. It's not like you're outside, over a velvet rope. So there must be security guards like, don't step on that hole. Don't step on that hole.
Yeah.
That's his job. He's like, no, don't step on that hole.
I wonder if he's just like thinking to himself outside. He's sitting there guarding the front entrance. He's like, man, I'm telling everyone, don't watch that hole every time they go in there. Don't fall in the hole. Never one's ever fallen in that hole. I don't need to say it anymore. And then the next guy that walks in,
Fucking, that's when that asshole walked in and was just like, ha ha ha, bah.
damn it! I should have told him.
Yeah, and even with the signs that said don't go near the black hole, he still did it. I almost say it's a guy that deserved whatever came from it. I don't have a report of his injury here. I'm assuming it was a little bit of an injury. He had to go to the hospital, but
That's why you
hopefully he
never.
didn't break a leg.
That's why you never go to an art museum without a border collie.
Oh, really?
Because
Never heard that one.
because if you bring the dog, then Lassie will run off and be like,
Oh,
Matt fell in the well.
He fell
Fell in the bottomless pit. The pit to limbo.
Okay. Lesson learned.
You just gotta,
people.
bring a border collie to an art museum. You'll
Get
never
yourself
fall in a
Lassie,
well.
people. Don't sleep on the Lassie.
All right. We have a bit of a good transition here, I have to say, to our next segment with our funny clip of the week.
The funny clip?
Oh, yeah. This is an MMA funny clip, since we're doing some
Oh,
green
yes.
corner in the second part of the episode.
Yeah, man. And it's a good one. I thoroughly enjoy this clip. It's least expected.
This is probably the most superhero-esque takedown I've ever seen in MMA training.
We've had these kind of videos before where there's something going on in the present ground right in front of you. The foreground's right there. But if you look in the background, something even crazier is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You got to keep an eye on that background, people. I'm telling you, there's hidden things in films, in TV shows, and in YouTube clips.
The
Watch
the gold nuggets lay in the background. That's where you have to look.
Yes.
And this is definitely one of those scenarios. We're not going to give away what happens. If you want to see this, we're going to be posting it up on our Facebook group on our Facebook page on Friday, like we do with our funny clip at the end of every week. So you'll have to go there to check it out. Totally worth it though, because
super strength, man. This could be the evidence of a superhero.
Yes.
I'm just thinking this right now. Maybe like this could be evidence of our first superhero on Earth that we were actually captured on film.
he's like a bear.
Dude,
He's like a fucking bear attacking someone.
Man, get at the Facebook, check out the funny clip when we post it. You gotta see it. Man, now we're gonna get into the green corner. It's only fitting. It's about that time. We're gonna rough you guys up a little bit ourselves. But before we do that, here's a word from the Regular Stories podcast.
Drama City Productions presents.
Hey, it's Ben here, host of the Regular Stories podcast, a podcast where I interview interesting people about their lives. These are not celebrities, they're not the elite. These are regular people, and these are their stories. You can follow us on Facebook at Regular Stories and on Instagram at Regular Stories. We are everywhere that you can get a podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, just about everywhere else. Look up Regular Stories Podcast.
Fight!
And we are back. Man, I'm excited. I feel like it's a good time to be a fight fan right now.
Definitely. Yeah, and the slackers probably missed the green corner a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been changing things up.
And to start us off, we got a little bit of controversy coming from all people. Bruce Buffer.
Oh, man.
He's calling out one of the Diaz brothers. This time it is Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz. I always confuse the two of them.
Nate's the more confrontational one, I'll say.
Yeah, that's very true. And
yeah.
His reputation precedes him in this story as well, because we have Bruce Buffer, who was caught outside of what looks like a Walgreens by TMZ, and they asked him, what do you think about all the stuff Nate Diaz has been saying about not being promoted or being under promoted by the UFC? And Bruce Buffer had some words. He said, you've made, he said, quote, $7 or more million on your last fight, and I don't want to hear complaining about being under-promoted. He said you should be thanking the UFC and bowing to Dana White every time you see him.
Yeah, dude, he's crazy, man. There's so many things wrong with that. Like, he definitely didn't make that much money.
Okay.
Yeah, the purse that he took home was maybe a couple mil. On that fight.
Still,
but
a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
$7. Yeah, I think he maybe went overboard saying $7.
Yeah, it was $2,070,000.
Okay.
And and that was only because he got a bonus too for the fight of the night for $50,000 and like a Reebok sponsorship for $20,000.
Wow.
So yeah, he did get a chunk of change, but also he is like definitely one of the most underused stars there are. I mean, the Diaz brothers are huge among the fans. Everybody wants to see them fight. And they really have been like kind of underused, I feel like, while they're in their prime.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like after the whole Conor, debacles, that the UFC kind of made a choice to go with him and sort of leave them on the side. Like, that's what it seems from like a fan perspective, at least.
Yeah, and furthermore, I mean, the real story here is what was Buffer in Walgreens for, man? That guy lives a sketchy lifestyle. He's been quoted as saying he lives his life like 007. He's not tied down to a family. He is like a free roamer, so he gets to love whatever lady he wants in the night.
Oh, okay.
Hello, ladies, man.
Ooh, it's a lady.
So, I'm wondering, what are you in there for, Buffer? You get yourself into some trouble?
Creeping around, getting some antibiotics or something?
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to help you out, man.
He was very nice to the TMZ crew. Normally, when people run up on you, like they get a bad reaction, but he was very cordial with them. And
yeah,
before talking shit about Diaz and then getting in his car and leaving.
The Buffer brothers, they run the announcing game. They've got a monopoly going on.
You may hear them at the beginning of our show.
His brothers over in the boxing world, he's taking care of the MMA world. They're making money. They're like the voices of, fighting sports.
Right.
So, shit. They're like their own little celebrities. They ride it out.
That's true.
Moving along, we're going to talk about Dana White, the pimp daddy, the guy that's the head of everything here. And he's been like making media lately. He was reported as saying like he won't apologize for bashing his own fighters, which he does a lot of, man, like constantly. He's always talking shit about people. And he seems like a little, he won't give guys a fair chance. He was talking shit about the CM Punk and Mike Jackson fight.
Okay.
They're done. They're both done. The other guy, like CM Punk, I could see why. The other guy is an MMA fighter, a true MMA fighter. CM Punk has no right to be in this sport, really, coming in this late. He's 40. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah, most guys retired before then. Yeah, and Dana's a little. I mean, he is the head gun. He makes matches. He's involved in every process still. I gotta say, it is kind of weird. You feel like he's like the president of the company. I feel like maybe this is my personal bias, but I wanted to get your opinion on this. I feel like as a president, he should have more of like a away from that kind of drama, you know.
Yeah, less bias towards, like, you shouldn't know what he's thinking. I mean, he's allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah.
He's a person, and it's his company, but, like, it's a very weird way that the league is sort of set up, and that because you don't see that much outspokenness from even, like, in the NFL, it feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff. Usually in other sports, the presidents are sort of like in a suit behind closed doors, like putting out press statements, and that's about all you hear from them.
Yeah, man. I just feel like Dana's like becoming like the Vince McMahon of like MMA.
Do you
and
think he's
like,
just looking for his own celebrity out of this? Like, he can't be a fighter, so he'll, like, you know, talk shit about fighters and control them with a power move?
I don't know, man. It just, in my opinion, I think it is. You know, I gotta say yeah. But you know, it's Dana White. He's taken a business that was worth, you know, like I think $1.5 million. He purchased it for originally. It was purchased for, and turned it to, you know, a $3 billion company.
True.
That's what it sold for. So I mean, shit.
That's what it comes down to. It's all about the business, really.
Our next story, though, is the main focus for me. Brock Lesnar is returning. The Freak Show is coming back. He has pulled away from WWE's storyline.
What a name.
Completely.
Freak Show.
Oh, man. Well, it is a freak show. I mean,
should be
he's just
the
so
monster.
large.
I mean, that's what I call him.
Man, no, it's just this guy can do it all. I feel like, you know, he's clumsy in the octagon.
I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
Most people are not fans of like Brock Lesnar. I feel like if they're like true MMA fans, but I really enjoy his show. Like I really enjoy seeing him get in there and just seeing if raw strength can just overpower these guys that have such technique.
True.
Such as DC. I'm really curious to see how this goes. DC, you know, has wrestled heavyweights many times, and obviously he ran through Stipe, which we weren't really expecting. Much larger competitor, but now with this setup, Brock Lesnar versus DC, it's going to be crazy, man, to see if DC can really handle it. I mean, he's going to go to being the greatest heavyweight of all time at the same time as lightweight.
Wow.
Light heavyweight, if he can beat Brock Lesnar.
That would be insane. Now, what's he been doing up to this point? Like, has he been keeping up his training and stuff, or he's over, doing WWE shit?
Well, he's been doing the wrestling for, you know, the last couple years or whatever, since the Mark Hunt fight.
Okay, so it's not like
where
he's
it got overturned.
out of shape or anything. Like, he's ready for the octagon.
No, he probably went back to wrestling, you know, juiced up a little bit, got that good.
He's on steroids.
And now he's probably been clean for a little bit, and now he's like back in the testing pool and everything. So we'll see. The earliest he can be cleared, I think, is January of next year.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little bit, but he has pulled away from. They've written him out of the storylines at WWE, so that he's able to fully concentrate on training and get this going.
And in UFC, the storylines write themselves.
This is likely his last run, man. If he doesn't beat DC, I would not expect to see Brock again. It hasn't been too good for Brock since he lost his heavyweight belt to Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, how many times can you walk out of the octagon without a title?
Yeah. He won his last fight, but it was overturned because of testing dirty. So
I'm on steroids. Now what?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, we have a disastrous nutsack incident with another UFC fighter by the name of Bryce Mitchell, and he had a little issue with an electric drill. This wasn't a nutsack injury during training or anything. You would think, like, you throw a high kick and it would end up like splitting the sack open or something. But no, in this case, he was working, I guess, on his house or something along those lines, using power equipment. And the drill, he dropped the board he was drilling, and the drill reversed up towards him and tangled up into his pants and his nuts, and it ripped him in half.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
This all comes from his Facebook page where he, posted it. He didn't post pictures, but there is a picture of, he didn't post pictures of the injury, but there's a picture of his bloody underwear to kind of, prove that this is real and he's not fucking around.
Man, that's fucking horrible. That kid just came off of The Ultimate Fighter 27.
Damn.
That sucks, man. Like, to get an injury like that, and he's a young kid,
right?
He can't be more than like 22.
You wonder what kind of damage it did. He said that he got stitched up, and he's gonna have to take time off, obviously, because you can't be throwing some nasty kicks with a rip in your sack.
Poor old Thug Nasty. That's his nickname.
Thug Nasty.
Oh,
he's gonna be nut nasty now.
Oh God, poor bastard.
He did ask that people not make puns about his accident, about it being nutty, or how he really screwed up.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna make a pun, you gotta make it a good one. I don't have one, unfortunately. I just feel for the man.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Oh. I feel it still. After you said that, I'm just thinking of the process of that bit, wrapping your nutsack around and just tearing everything down there.
Yeah, it's terrible. And like, just the fact that you don't even see the injury, and then you just see like his bloody clothing, that makes it even worse, because then you let your imagination do its worst.
Giant testicle monsters.
Yeah, man. Fucking A. Well, let's wish him a speedy recovery and hopefully a full recovery. I'm hoping everything works when he's done. But,
yeah, definitely.
Man. Well, closing this out, we've got double champ fights coming up. 2 double champ fights coming up, rather. Everybody knows about the Khabib, the Conor fight is going to happen. But another one that I'm really excited for, Chris Cyborg is going to fight the Lioness Amanda Nunes. And it's set for UFC 232.
That'll be a good one.
Man, especially Cyborg can't find anybody to fight her that's like an actual competitor her size, and all that. And Nunes is just such a power hitter that it's going to be. I think Nunes is going to be the first match for Cyborg that she's seen that's like a real problem.
Yeah, they're both fierce competitors, that's for sure. Out of the women's league, I guess they're ones that I've always recognized as being hardcore as hell. I mean, there's that Cyborg documentary about her whole training thing, and
yeah, man,
it just shows you how tough these ladies can be.
I know, yeah, true. After you see that and you see what Cyborg went through, but man, Nunes I feel like she's a little younger. She's a little, she's a little smaller, but I feel like she's just got that muscle build, and she is just tough as can be, man. Granted, her record is 16-4, and Cyborg only has really 1 loss. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it as could be. This is probably the most exciting fight I've seen, or I've been looking forward to, since in the females division, since like Ronda was fighting,
right?
They have a problem trying to hype the females. I feel like they don't get enough spotlight. They don't do a good job of promoting them,
and it's surprising because sometimes they're the best fights. It seems like.
Yeah, they're really intense, man, and they usually go like the distance. That's the crazy part. Like they're really just brawling it out till the end,
right?
A lot of slugfests, and of course, Khabib and Conor. I mean, this is going to be fucking insane that this finally got announced. It pissed off Diaz, Dustin Poirier. They were a little, unhappy. Dustin thought he had a chance, getting into the title range, and Nate just wants the trilogy. Like I feel like, or it just feels like they never promote him versus like Conor's like their golden goose, and he's like the one dude who has a legit win over Conor, that's still like relevant.
Right.
Well, I hope we get the trilogy down the road, but right now this fight will definitely do and keeping me pretty happy, man.
That'll be a really good one.
It's going to be crazy. I mean, Conor's actually coming in at the underdog in the boxes right now.
Right.
Just slightly.
He's been out for a little bit, though, too.
He's been out for a while, and Khabib's just been, like, dominating everybody, strangling, throwing him on the ground, just doing what he has to do. Man, I don't know, man. It depends on if Conor can, do something in the first or second round, striking-wise. But if Khabib gets him down, it's over. That's the problem with Khabib. He's something that
big guy.
Conor's never faced. That, and he's one of the best on like the ground. He'll out wrestle Conor any day, and Conor's not known for his ground game.
No,
Nate had his way with him on the ground.
Which, not to shit on Conor at all, but like after the Mayweather fight, we found that like striking isn't necessarily his game. With this, we can tell that Khabib is clearly better than Conor is on the ground game. What's Conor's game? I mean, he's got the reach. We've discussed that before.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. He's got a 4-inch reach on him. He's slightly longer on reach. He's an inch shorter, which is odd. Khabib's got shorter reach, but that's unusual. But I mean, again, Khabib could throw him on the ground and beat the shit out of him, or Conor could outstrike him in the very beginning and hit him with a hard right, and just that's the thing. I feel like Khabib hasn't faced somebody that hits as hard as Conor. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if he actually gets clipped by Conor. That might change his confidence. But I mean, it's going to be interesting because Conor has a confidence. He's got a degrade in his confidence from the Mayweather incident, whereas Khabib's riding up. He's fucking riding up right now, and he feels unbeatable. So
just chopping through, going like the.
It's gonna be a clash of the minds, man. yeah, and we know that Conor's not gonna get into fucking Khabib's head. I mean, Khabib grew up in the fucking toughest of tough, so Conor's mind games aren't gonna work. So it's gonna be solely on actual athletics.
That'll be good.
We'll see what happens, man. It'll be interesting. And, definitely check that out. 229 is going to be insane. And also, on top of that card, man, this is going to be a stacked card. It's going to be crazy. Tony Ferguson versus Anthony Pettis. We're going to see Ferguson finally come back. If all works out, I feel like there's a chance this fight could get pulled.
Okay.
I know Ferguson's just coming back from injuries and shit. We'll see how that goes. Crazy, they're putting Derek Lewis on like an undercard main co-event type deal versus Alexander Volkov, which is odd because Derek Lewis had a really rough battle, very slow fight with Francis Ngannou the last time he fought. So like Dana was pretty pissed about that. That was another fight Dana was talking shit about. Wow. But apparently Derek was injured. He had a back injury, and he's feeling much better. But we'll see how that goes.
That'll be good.
Next up, Sergio Pettis, another guy I'm a big fan of. He's a young guy. Versus Hasir Formiga. So we'll see how that goes. I'm rooting for Sergio on that one. We'll see if I'm wrong on that.
Does Sergio and Anthony any relation between the two?
Yes, yeah, they're brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. Sergio Pettis is I like him. He's lesser known, but I'm a big fan of him. He's a young kid.
Cool.
And he's a little guy. And St. Prue's coming back versus Dominic Reyes. That's a nice light heavyweight. We'll see how that goes. St. Preux, the veteran. We'll see if the veteran outtakes the younger guy. And this whole card's stacked, man. On the undercard, I gotta say, Sean O'Malley's fighting. I'm a big fan of him. He's a pothead.
Nice.
Gotta support our fellow potheads out there. So stick around. You can catch that on FX too. Actually, the undercard. A lot of people don't realize the pre-pay-per-view you can catch on FX. So check that out if you get a chance, and definitely check out the pay-per-view if you can. It's fun. Go find a bar. Go get a drink. Watch Conor fight Khabib. You're gonna have to throw down a little cover charge.
Yeah, usually. Well, before you do that, we got a little something for you from the Podworms Spacecast podcast.
The Podworms Spacecast is a podcast hosted by 7 lifelong friends who inject comedy directly into your ear canals every Tuesday. You may think 7 hosts is too many for a podcast, but you may also think $5 is too cheap for a quality voiceover such as this. Yet here we are. Enjoy a clip from the critically acclaimed Podworms Spacecast.
And I looked up, how do you fix squeaky shoes? And they said you gotta get some baking soda and you put it in the shoe, and it absorbs like the moisture or whatever, and it fixes the shoe.
Boom.
I went to the store across the street. I went to the bathroom
during lunch.
The bathroom in the store across the street.
This is emergency. This cannot wait till tomorrow.
You did this at work. I told you I couldn't get off my desk. I'm so embarrassed.
So Andrew walked across the street. No, it was more like. He was in a hurry. And then he had to wait for the light.
You can find the Podworms Spacecast wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, keep squirming.
And we are back with a little game we like to call This or That. And this is the Changing of the Seasons edition. We're, slowly transitioning from summer into fall. The swimsuits are coming off, and the jackets are coming on.
Oh yeah, man. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm ready to cry about it. I'm sick of the cold already, and it hasn't even hit.
I was gonna say you're kind of in that swing temperature right now, where it's hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold.
Yeah, man. Fall is coming, and winter is coming right behind it. Unfortunately, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Right?
Fuck all that. But pumpkins, it's kind of nice, right?
We love Halloween here at American Slacker.
Halloween goes way too quick. That's the problem.
And that's why we're extending it into August. Just like Christmas and Thanksgiving. You're already starting to see the fucking Halloween decorations up.
Get the candy out. Get the costumes on, start decorating, have fun with it.
I already think I know what I'm going to be.
Damn it, I'm jealous. I never know what I'm going to be until the last minute.
Gotta start planning ahead.
I guess.
And we got some more things that you'll have to decide here in this or that as we sort of give two options to choose between. And we'll also be posting these up on the Facebook page so that you can give your opinion, and we'll see if you agree or disagree with us.
Hell yeah. I'll start it out with a no-brainer, man. This should be simple for you to choose. This or that, a pumpkin spice latte to the face or a 5-pound pumpkin launched at your dick.
Oh, I'm going pumpkin spice latte to the face all the way. Reasoning being, it'll only burn for a little bit, and I can, like, still walk after. And you know what? My face might smell nice after.
Smart choice, man. I feel like the the pumpkin, it's 5 pounds. It's probably enough to do some permanent damage.
Yeah.
To that general region.
You're gonna be limping for sure.
Yeah, I can't help but agree with you. Pumpkin spice latte to the face. It might leave a burn for a few days at most, but the pumpkin will haunt me forever.
The spice is temporary, but glorious forever. All right, I got one for you. This or that, sweating your balls off in the heat or freezing them off in the cold. You got the extremes of either temperature here.
I gotta say, the heat all day over the cold. I'll take the heat. I can't stand the cold anymore, man. The cold is just like, it's bitter. It's a bitter, like, you want to just be like, you bitter asshole, you cold. And the heat, you're just like, oh, fuck, it's hot.
Yeah, I'll
just take it slow.
I'd rather heat as well, just because, I'll just go to sleep. I'll just, like, take a nap if I'm hot.
Yeah, right? Just don't move.
If I'm cold, it could be physically painful.
Yeah, man. The cold just sucks, man. You just have icicles in your beard. Just shit gets weird, man. And fuck no. I'm not with it. Not with it one bit. All right, coming back to warmness. This or that, you're getting drunk at a summer barbecue, or are you smoking a fatty at Thanksgiving feast?
Ooh, see,
it's hard to choose.
I'm going to get drunk at summer barbecue because at least it's socially acceptable. At Thanksgiving, I don't know if you can like face down the uncles like with bloodshot eyes, because Thanksgiving feast is usually like summer barbecue. Doesn't necessarily have to mean family. Thanksgiving, usually you got people around you got to kind of be a little incognito with.
Man, I don't know, dude. I think I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to smoke that fatty, and I'm going into the feast face first.
You're going to risk it and eat that second biscuit because you've got those fucking munchies?
Like, Matt, you're eating the drumstick off the turkey on the table. Like, stop.
Like, wait, you have a plate for these reasons.
Oh, sorry.
There's nothing more satisfying than a good feast when you're stoned.
Oh, man.
So I got one for you. This or that, bottomless pit of leaves or quicksand at the beach. Which one are you going to end up stuck in?
Ooh, I fuck with the leaves because I feel like the quicksand, you're dead. The leaves, I feel like I can still breathe. I'm probably breathing in crusty little crispy chips of the leaf.
Yeah.
But I'm living.
And you don't know how many ticks are in it, though?
I don't give a fuck. The quicksand, you don't know how many deaths are in it, like how quick your death is. Like, that's fuck no.
I'll tell you, I made one.
I know you don't move, I guess, and quicksand won't take you all the way, but fuck the guy that had to learn that.
Bottomless pit of leaves, you're just going to be slowly falling forever through the leaves. I think I'd go with the leaves as well, though.
Just sifting slowly.
So,
that's kind of scary.
Like, can I get to the bottom? It's just going to get darker.
And then the leaves just, like, silence you, so even if you scream,
you're muffled.
They'll never hear
you. In leaves, no one can hear you scream.
Oh, man. Well, moving along to my last question. We're coming into the fall. You know, it's time for football season.
Oh, true.
You know I like my fight questions. This or that. You gotta fight half a Pee-wee football team. I can't even say the straight face. Or Brock Lesnar.
Oh. You know what? I'm taking my chances with the Pee-wee football team. Are they in gear?
Yeah, we'll put them in gear for their kind of protection.
For their safety.
Make it seem less like child abuse.
They might not go down.
I was gonna say that's 11 kids to give you an idea. I went and I googled the general starting is like 22 for a teen. So we'll give you 11 to make it light. We're talking
scared.
anywhere from 11 to 12.
I'm less scared of 11 children, so I'm gonna go with that.
All right.
Over
I think
Brock
you're fair. Yeah. I think I'd go with the same. I feel like,
I feel like Brock Lesnar would break me like Bane-breaking Batman.
Oh my God.
Backbreaker.
You even sounded like him too. You know, you're like, oh fuck, this sucks. Should have taken the kids. Yeah, definitely going. Agree the same. I would fuck those little football players up.
So here's the last one for you, and this really kind of tells if you're a fall or a summer person. 4th of July or Halloween party?
Oh, baby. This question is way too easy, as you know. I just love Halloween. Halloween's the shit. We're gonna go to. I wish every day was a Halloween party. I wish that like the whole month of October was just Halloween party every weekend at least.
Right.
Like, you know,
if you can find the right places, yeah.
Man, Halloween party all day.
Keep
day.
it going for the entirety of fall. I agree. Halloween party all the way.
Man. It's fun. You know, you don't even know who I am. I could be anybody.
So that was This or That. We're going to be posting all of those up on our Facebook page for you slackers to vote on, because we want to hear what you have to say in regards to all these questions.
Oh, yeah, let us know. And I think it's about time we wrap this bitch up. But before you go, we got some plugs for you. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page, American Slacker Podcast. You'll also find the American Slackers group, where you can chime in with a bunch of slackers just like you. And also check out the Instagram. We got the promos for each and every show, and also the website, AmericanSlackerPodcast.com or ASPodcast.com.
You can also find us over on Twitter and Reddit at AMERSLKR Podcast. All of our episodes go on YouTube, and please, we ask you to rate and review us on iTunes, 5 stars or nothing, and please also tell a friend. That creates more slackers, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Oh, yeah. And tell them slackers to send us an email at AmericanSlackerPodcast@gmail.com. And also, hey, if you need to groove out, or if you want another spot to check out our show, Spotify. All you gotta do is search American Slacker Podcast, you'll find our show, or you'll find the playlist with all of the artists we've featured on the show, or maybe even had on the show.
You can also become a Patreon sponsor of the show, become an official American Slacker, give us a little bit of support like these fine people. Dave Gunn, Seth Anders, Kyle Nolan Bradford from the Crime Roulette Podcast, and Aaron W. from the Yes and I Am Podcast. We appreciate your support, guys. It goes a long way.
Goes a long way. Thank you so much.
And please also visit our shop. You can get to that through our website, as Matt had stated before, or go straight to the shop at AmericanSlackerPodcast.BigCartel.com.
Oh yeah, buy some of our shit. Alright people, get at me on Instagram at MWGmedia or at my gamer tag on Xbox Live at MattyG from HP.
And you can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet at Landers the Plane.
Alrighty people. We just want to say you're beautiful. We love every one of you. And thanks for
except you in the
us.
back. Yeah,
that
you.
I'm glad you said that. I'm
Seriously.
really glad you said that. I was thinking this the whole
go.
show. Ah, man. Fuck you, guy. Don't ever come back here again. Everybody else, you're cool. Alright? And until next time, that's it.
There you go.